Woman gave birth in an MRI machine to show what really happens to the body. The fascination with MRI scans and human function has carried on. A video of a woman giving birth in an MRI machine has resurfaced over 15 years later as viewers online have become intrigued. Sure, why not? There's worse things in the world, I suppose, you could be intrigued about, so yeah, go for it, I suppose. Originally released as part of a study carried out in 2010, the first video of the labour was shared in November that year. The team, which was led by Christian Bamberg, MD, published their results as part of their Human Birth Observed in Real Time Open Magnetic Resource Imagining paper. Jesus, that's a mouthful. It would be published in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology, or Gynecology, however the fuck you pronounce it. I hate medical words. They are really frustrating to pronounce. Scary issue, I know, but they are really annoying. Like, just make it simple. Stop putting fancy words when they're not really fancy. Just like, call it something simple. In 2012, this notably wasn't the first in-depth analysis of a biological process through an MRI. Back in 1991, a couple became the subject of a study examining what two people having sex in an MRI machine would look like. First of all, how the fuck do two people have sex in an MRI machine? Like, how is that even possible? I mean, I don't want to think too much into it, but it's a curiosity nonetheless. This woman and her boyfriend, whose names I cannot pronounce, adopted the spooning position and did the deed with their friend, Dutch scientist, again, whose name I cannot pronounce, looking to find out what really happens in our bodies during the process. Okay, bit weird, but sure. The resulting photos headlined science-related news upon its release, with both adults coming out with any accidents occurring. Well, that's good. At least there wasn't any accidents during this scientific research process. I just love how it says that. Following this success, their friend / doctor continued on with his research, with a further 8 couples and 3 single women having sex in an MRI machine 30 more times, this time in a missionary position. Jesus. Oh. I mean, there are fascinating people out there. Regardless of where you are in the world, there are some fascinating people out there. While he was faced with questions about why the woman's bladder seemed to fill up during the deed, his work deemed a success. What happens 9 months after sex, the final 45 minutes of a woman giving birth was captured and sped up as part of a 25-second video, which was made through a number of MRI images taken in the same section of her body. German researchers from the University Hospital in Berlin carried out what was a medical first, giving us an insight into the inside of a woman's body during labour. I can't speak for everybody, but I'm pretty sure no one, well, I say no one, but most of us, has never been fascinated or interested to know what happens to a woman's body during labour. I don't think that's something we want to know at all. Even though we'll probably find out the horrific details through our partner once they've given birth, but, you know, somehow, some way we could prevent from knowing the horrific details, then we would all be grand. The image of the birth reveals the exact position of a fetus and its movement through the birth canal, which gave health experts more of an insight into the process. Knowledge about the mechanism of labour is based on assumptions and radiographic studies performed decades ago. The short video shows the mother's final push and the baby's head crowning, with the movement of the mum's organs helping to guide doctors during harder deliveries. So, doctor at the University Hospital's Case Medical Center in Cleveland spoke to ABC News about how it can help doctors, midwives and nurses understand the process better. For the vast majority of women, letting nature take its course is a pretty good way to give birth, she said in 2012, adding, but it's interesting to find ways to understand it better, and if this helps us learn ways to avoid cesarean section and have babies come out vaginally, there could be some benefit. Calling the movie fascinating, the expert also gives credit to the men for being generous and being willing to support science, with what is usually a private moment. I mean, I can't speak for all of us, but when it comes to science and helping support science, I'm pretty sure there's nothing that we wouldn't do. As evidenced by this story right here, where the woman gave birth inside an MRI machine. I mean, all jokes aside, science can be fascinating, and it can be an interesting discovery. And we might not think about it in that sense, because we probably just turn our brains off when it comes to science, and science is quite complicated, quite difficult to understand in some ways or another. But there are times where you find a fascinating story related to science and your mind's like completely blown. Or you're completely disturbed and never want to read anything related to science ever again. But in all seriousness, fair play to the woman for allowing scientists and doctors and whatnot to let them be a part of what should be a private moment for her. I say should be, but it's completely up to her, obviously. Not many people would probably be willing to make that sort of sacrifice, if you want to call it a sacrifice. But however, if this does help future pregnancies in the long run, for years to come, then I think this is a really great step in the right direction for women who are about to give birth or will eventually give birth and get pregnant and give birth, that sort of thing. With that being said, please, as always, let me know your opinions down below in the comment section below. I thought this was a bit of a weird story, bit of an interesting story as well. I'm curious to see if you guys have any similar opinions. If not, that's perfectly fine. Either that. But until next time, take care, stay safe, have a good rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye bye for now.